Thank you. It's a great honor to speak before you on behalf of Oxfam on an issue that's very close to my heart. I grew up in a little town, a little village called Ruti in Uganda, and have very fond memories of my childhood there. But I also remember the challenges. My village had no running water, and I and the girls in my village, we went down to the river every day to collect the water. I also collected firewood for my mother to cook our food. And that's more than 50 years ago. Yet, that challenge, that struggle of haulage still exists today. African women spend 40 billion hours every year collecting water. And this is getting harder and longer because of droughts. And for the 60% of African women who farm, it's becoming harder and harder to feed their families because their crops are destroyed by droughts, because of pests, because of disease. Climate change is pushing poor people further and further into poverty and threatening the whole of humanity. But let's be clear here. It isn't the most vulnerable and the poorest people who have caused this climate crisis. Take my uncle in the village in Uganda. It would take him 180 years to register the same emissions as an average American would in 1 year. 180 years. So for me, and for Oxfam, climate change is an injustice. It's a denial of human rights, and it is driving inequality. That's why our first call is to governments, particularly governments of rich countries. We call on you to address the impacts of climate change that are being felt right now by hundreds of millions of poor people around the world. Pay your fair share to meet the adaptation needs of the most vulnerable, the poorest people. Right now, the money on the table is too little. For the 1.5 billion smallholder farmers, the climate finance available is just $3 per person per year. The price of a cup of tea, what is that to a Mozambican woman whose livelihood is about to be wiped out by the next flood? Let's be serious. Governments, rich governments, put the money down, do the right thing for poor people around the world. And yet it's not enough simply to adapt. We must be more ambitious about reducing carbon emissions. And I'm now thinking about our brothers and sisters in the Pacific, in the coastal areas of Bangladesh, and in other lowland areas. They are faced with the prospect of being wiped out by rising seas and strongest storms. We can't close our ears to them. This is about their very survival. To think that we can warm this planet by 2.7 degrees and call that success, no, that's moral failure. Let's be ambitious here in Paris and bring the goal to 1.5 degrees to survive. We owe it to these people. It might sound like a huge challenge, but flip it over. You see immense opportunities. Big business is seizing these opportunities. Companies such as Unilever, IKEA, are moving, shifting their production to 100% renewable energies. Others should follow. We are seeing the creative energies of smallholder farmers, of young people, of workers, leading green innovations, from women in El Salvador who are harnessing geothermal, to the young people in Ghana who are making wooden bikes, to the Squee Up in Jakarta, helping ordinary people to move about faster and more sustainably, and to the solar garden markets in Benin. It's exciting. It's happening. We just need to move it faster. I'm an optimist. I believe in the power of people. We have the technology. We have the talent. We just need to harness the will to build a safer and fairer world. Let's end this system that benefits a chosen few at the price of the future of our planet. Let's build a human economy. We can do it. We must do it for our children and for our grandchildren. Yes, we must, we can, and we will. It starts here in Paris. Thank you.